Well, my grandson called me the other day. I asked him how he was, and he said, "Grandma, I think I'm getting some compassion fatigue." And I said to him, "What in this pretty little world is compassion fatigue? Speak English, you fluffy-mouthed millennial. Compassion fatigue." And he said, "Oh, Grandma, it was such a hard year for everyone that you just get to feeling overwhelmed." And I said to him, "You know who had a right to feel overwhelmed? My grandmother raised 28 children in a one-room log cabin in Nebraska. They don't even have any trees in Nebraska. She had to carry the logs from Ohio herself while pregnant with her 28 children." And he said, "But Grandma," and I said, "You know who had a right to feel overwhelmed? My mother single-handedly ran a hospital for one-eyed soldiers during the Great War. She couldn't get any supplies because of the rationing. She had to hire a local beaver to gnaw down saplings to use as crutches. You think you heard her complaining about contraption fatigue? No, she was too busy keeping those one-eyed soldiers from running into door frames because they had no depth perception." And he said, "But Grandma," and I said, "You know who has a right to feel overwhelmed? The good Lord. 30 years on earth, people pestering him with their lame feet and their dead relatives. Now they still won't stop caterwauling at him about how overwhelmed they are." And I said, "Did you hear me complaining about this new artisan fatigue when I was listening to your grandfather bellyache for 94 years? No, I just slapped the side of his head until he'd stop." And I said, "Young man, I will share with you the secret. There is one way, tried and true, to avoid compassion fatigue. Just don't give him any pity in the first place." And he said, "But Grandma, I thought you said your parents came from Poland in 1938. What's this about Nebraska?" And I said, "Michael?" And he said, "No." And he said, "Oh, I'm so very sorry, ma'am. I must have dialed the wrong number and gotten the wrong grandmother." And I said, "Well, I don't know about that, but you're certainly the wrong grandson." And I said, "I wouldn't have said all of those things if I had known you weren't mine." And he said, "Oh, I understand, ma'am. You were just trying to toughen him up. You didn't mean any of it." And I said, "No, I would have told you to go deal with it and go bother your own grandmother. And have her teach you some manners in the meantime, calling me the wrong grandmother."